taxpayer money. HSBC said it paid just £1 for the SVB's UK arm. Silicon Valley Bank, which specialized in lending to technology companies, was shut down by U.S. regulators on Friday in what was the largest failure of a U.S. bank since 2008. Its collapse sent shockwaves across the tech industry over the possible impact it could have on businesses, with some firms telling the press they could go bust if deposits were not secured. With fears of how firms would be able to access cash this morning, frantic talks were held between Chancellor Jeremy Hunt, the Prime Minister, and the Bank of England Governor, HSBC bosses, and civil servants to find a solution. U.S. authorities took emergency measures on Sunday to shore up the banking system after Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank collapsed. People and businesses who have money deposited with SVB would be able to access all their cash from today, according to the government. Regulators also closed New York-based Signature Bank after mounting pressure. President Joe Biden will address the dramatic weekend in the financial sector later on today. In a statement, he promised to hold those responsible for this mess fully accountable. SVB, which specialized in lending to technology companies, was shut down by regulators who seized its assets on Friday. It was the largest failure of a U.S. bank since the financial crisis in 2008. A statement from the U.S. Treasury, the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, said depositors would be fully protected. The taxpayer will not bear any losses from the move, according to the FDIC. SVB was scrambling to raise money to plug a loss from the sale of assets affected by high interest rates. And still in our international news, China's new Premier Li Qiang has sought to restore confidence in the country's economy in his first public address since taking up the role. He said that a growth target set last week, 5%, would not be easy to meet, but added that the economy is stabilizing and picking up again. The world's second largest economy is still reeling from the effect of Beijing's zero-COVID policy. Challenges also loom because of a declining population and job losses. Investors' confidence, too, has taken a hit in recent years as China's leader, Xi Jinping, consolidated his power, cracking down on private businesses from tech companies to the tutoring industry. In an attempt to allay those concerns, Mr. Li said during a period last year there were some incorrect opinions on the development of the private economy, which worried some entrepreneurs. The environment for the private economy would get better and better, and there would be more space for it. As part of Chief of Shanghai, he oversaw one of the harshest zero-COVID lockdowns that battered China's economic hub, leaving many without food. And in the Middle East, Saudi oil giant Aramco has announced a record profit of $161.1 billion for 2022, helped by soaring energy prices and bigger volumes. It represents a 46.5% rise for the state-owned company compared with last year. It is the latest energy firm to report record profits after energy prices spiked following Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. America's ExxonMobil made $55.7 billion, and Britain's Shell reported $39.9 billion of profit. Aramco had also declared a dividend of $19.5 billion for the October to December quarter of 2022 to be paid in the first quarter of the year. Most of that will go to the Saudi government, which owns nearly 95% of the shares in the company. Brent crude oil, the benchmark oil price, now trades at around $82 a barrel, though prices exceeded $120 a barrel last March after Russia's invasion and June. And in Asia, HSBC has scooped up the UK arm of failed Silicon Valley, securing the deposits of thousands of British tech firms that hold money at the lender. Had a buyer not been found, SVB UK would have been placed into insolvency by the Bank of England following the stunning collapse of its parent in the United States. Insolvency would have left customers with only deposits worth $100,000 and or $200,000 for joint accounts guaranteed. In a statement, the central bank said it can confirm that all depositors' money with SVB UK is safe and secure as a result of this transaction. HSBC, Europe's biggest bank, announced a $1.2 deal early this morning, saying it would be effective immediately. The acquisition should end the nightmare thousands of tech firms have been experiencing over the past few days, according to Susanna Streeter, who is the head of money and markets at investing platform Hargreaves Lansdown. In a statement, SVB UK is a major bank partner for Britain's tech sector, and the failure of its parent sent tech executives scrambling to work out how to get their cash out to pay staff and cover operating expenses. And finally, in New York, Silicon Valley's banks collapsed last week, sent tingles of panic down investors' spines as it highlighted a large problem across the banking sector. The widening gap between the value large lenders place on the bonds they hold and what they actually worth on the market. SVB's downfall was tied in part to the plunge in the value of bonds it acquired during boom times when it had a lot of customer deposits coming in and needed somewhere to park the cash. SVB isn't the only institution with that issue. U.S. banks were sitting on $620 billion in unrealized losses, assets that have decreased in price but haven't been sold yet at the end of 2022, according to FDIC. Back when interest rates were near zero, U.S. banks scooped up lots of treasuries and bonds. Now, as the Federal Reserve hikes rates to fight inflation, those bonds have declined in value. When interest rates rise, newly issued bonds start paying higher rates to investors, which make the older bonds with lower rates less attractive and less valuable. The result is that most banks have some amount of unrealized losses on their books. Well, that brings us to the end of this afternoon's international news, business news segment, and together with the local business news segment. Bill, you have something for us.
There is an African proverb that says, a good dancer also has his time to do what? To end.
Well, can you read us the platform that we can find Channel 44? Well,
you are just very blessed, you who already has us on your screen or on your mobile phone, but we continue to read to you these platforms that you can share to your friends or relatives who don't know where to get us or who have not been advised finding trouble in seeing or getting Channel 44. We continue to remind you that on DSTV, we haven't changed. We are still on 297. You tell them to input 297, they will be able to get us. Then Go TV, we still haven't changed. We are on 812. Then Star Times Decoder, we are on 290. Zuku TV, we are on 056. Then for Azam TV, we are on 152, and then free to air, if you have an inbuilt decoder, we are on number 12. Then Star Times Satellite, we are on 468. Of course, and other mobile networks, if you travel with your television and phone, we also tell you that we are on your TV. Download the app of your TV, shall get the best name in television. Then Afro Mobile app, we are also there, and then Airtel TV.
Well, you can get us on your phone or on your screen or on the internet. We usually stream our news live and the services live on Robert Kayanja Ministries and Pastor Jessica Kayanja or Robert Kayanja Jr. We are there all the time as the services start. Pass by and get yourself a blessing. We'll come to the end of this bulletin. I remain Mercy Gashegu Sembatia.
And where is Bill Clinton? Tuonane kesho. Shalom.
and Livingstone Kawesi for sign language interpreting.